and welcome back to my YouTube channel English with Speaker. My name is Tanya and today we are going to find out if translation is a good tool for learning languages, its pros and cons, and how to use it wisely. Grammar translation method was popular in the 19th century. Long story short, translation part is exactly what you imagine it to be. A student had to translate from one language to another entire sentences, paragraphs, and texts. And although it became so unpopular in the 60s, it is still used. But why? What are the benefits? Well, first of all, translation shows you the differences and similarities between the language you are studying and the one that you know. For example, word order. Let's take English, Spanish, and Russian. And three expressions. A red flower, красный цветок, una flor roja. In English, you put adjectives in front of the nouns. In Spanish, you put adjectives after the nouns. Although in my example, in Russian, красный цветок, red, красный, stands before a noun, we can easily place it after and nothing will change. Красный цветок, цветок красный. Let's try it in English. A red flower, a flower red. Sounds so odd. You also learn that languages convey messages differently or similarly, and you start noticing the difference in culture. You start noticing the difference in thinking. Imagine you had an agreement to meet with someone at, say, 5 p.m. In English, a simple question, are you still up for it? Are you still up for the meeting? Is just to make sure that the person is fine, that everything is okay, and you are going to meet. But if we translate it directly to Russian, it will sound rude. And your friend might think that you don't want to meet. In Russian, it would sound something like «всё в силе». But the direct translation to English is everything strong? Another benefit is that you learn to switch from one language to another in your head really fast. And with practice, it becomes faster. But I would not recommend you trust in translation entirely. First thing is that you make your brain lazier. I hear it mostly, though, from my younger students, like teenagers or young adults, like why remembering it? There is a dictionary. Google Translate is always there. Since one and the same thought can be expressed differently in languages, direct translation may not always work, and it may only cause confusion. And poor students, people who are learning languages, keep asking themselves, why is it not working? It is working in my language. But we all tend to forget that we are learning something new. We are learning a new language, something different. Next point is translation is difficult for your brain. Even professional interpreters who get paid for this work say that they can work for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, they need to take a break. 30 minutes. And why do you keep doing that? It's not your job. You do not get paid for that. Translation is tiring and it might demotivate you later. If you translate everything all the time, you stop yourself from being fluent. That is, to express your thoughts clearly, well, and fast. I know it contradicts to what I said earlier about switching the languages in your head, but that's the whole point. You're in your head. You're not saying these things out loud. Your mouth is not familiar with the sounds that you are producing. When people translate, they sometimes deprive themselves from speaking the language they are learning. Anyways, I must say, using translation is not wrong if you use it wisely. When you see a word or a phrase for the first time in the text, do not use dictionary, do not use translation. Try to figure out the meaning by looking at the words around. Make some suggestions. It will help you develop the skill of figuring out what the words mean when you don't have a dictionary or Google Translate at your service. If you are doing it with your teacher will guide you for sure, and of course, in the end, he or she will tell you what it means exactly. But if you're doing it alone, after that, you should definitely use a dictionary. But go to English dictionary first. You will understand the concept better. But if it doesn't work, of course, for sure, 100% you must use English, your own language dictionary, and consult with it. Because if you guessed the meaning of the word or the phrase, if you figured it out, congratulations. If not, it's not a problem. We are all learning, and this is the process of learning. Although when you're a beginner or an elementary student, most of the words that you're learning are very easy to find pictures of, like a table, stol, la mesa, ostol. A little bit of Hungarian. Are there any people from Hungary here? Let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And at the beginning, of course, you should use a dictionary, because how else will you learn the language and check yourself, right? And no one wants you to be scared of the language you are learning. And at the start, there are so many things to learn, right? But I would advise to drop it gradually. Although again, the higher your level is, more abstract nouns, more abstract things there are. Well, what I mean is, do not rely on translation entirely. It's a great tool, and if it works well in the situation you are in, then why not? Just use it as your last resort. Make this thing inside your head work. So I hope this video was and is helpful, but I'm going to wrap it up. So I'll see you when I see you, and that is in my next video, right? Thank you for watching. Bye.